If you're a big car guy like me, then you're probably always perusing various used car websites. Which also means that when it comes time to actually want to buy a car, you have about 16 or 17 different options that you need to filter through and decide which one you actually want to buy. In this episode of FunAhead TV, I'm going to show you a way that you can categorize and prioritize each of those automotive choices to help you make the best decision possible. Please stay tuned. Now what I've drawn up here is a typical 3D graph. Now traditionally in calculus, this is your x-axis, that's the worst x ever, that's your y, and this is your z. Now, before you close the video and you're like, screw that, I don't need a calculus lesson, bear with me because we're not using x, y, or z, but each axis is going to be a metric for the vehicles. So this graph will help you visually plot out, so to speak, the car. So let's call this horizontal axis is luxury versus sporty. Now this axis is reliability. Your z-axis is what I'm going to call your remaining value percentage, or RVP. Sorry, I can't write and talk. Now with that, there's probably some official accounting term for this, but I'm just going to go ahead and call this RVP. Now what this is going to be equal to is your used car price over the original of the vehicle. So that, and then, okay, whatever, times 100, which gives you some percentage of remaining value. So now we have these kind of three different metrics to plot a car, but we're not going to stop there. We have one additional metric now, and that's going to be maintenance cost. So I'm going to have three different colors here. I'm going to call this green circle, or this green square here. That's going to be most inexpensive. Blue's kind of going to be like middle ground. And then red is going to be like very expensive to maintain. So we've got cheap, so-so in the middle, and then freaking ouch. Also, this area in here would kind of be like practical. This would be like your SUVs, neither sporty or luxurious. Or they can be luxurious, but they're kind of like your practical cars, your family cars, like minivans, what have you. Let's do a quick example and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now let's say, for example, you are in the market for a Subaru BRZ. Let's call that like a 7 out of 10 for sportiness. Also, it is a pretty reliable car, so we're about here for sporty, and for reliability we'll give it like a 7.5, so we're like here. So we're about there. And then RVP, they're pretty expensive on the used market. They're probably, 60 to 75% of the used value. So let's say we're like here. There is a difference between reliability and maintenance cost. You can have a reliable car that's also very expensive to maintain, and vice versa. I would say a Subaru BRZ is either blue or green. It might cost you a little more money than your average car to maintain, so we'll give it a blue. Subaru BRZ. So we've got this car plotted, but so what? What does this mean? I've kind of devised this like value system. The value system is completely arbitrary and up to you. I'll go ahead and kind of graph out my value zone, so to speak. Anything outside of this zone here, this is the no-go zone. This out here is good value. Yours might look a little different based on your priorities. This is basically saying that if the car is very luxurious or very sporty, I might be willing to sacrifice a little bit of reliability to say that the car is a good value. It might meet my, okay, sure, I'll buy it criteria. But if it's in the middle, it better be freaking reliable if it's gonna be neither of these two on the outside for me to consider it to still be a good car. So as I get more expensive, the RVP increases. This line, at least for me, changes slightly. So everything within kind of these lines that I've drawn here, this like box, the bottom's curved, kind of bowed in because it's a cheaper car, but the higher the RVP is, if I'm spending a lot of money on that car, it better, my reliability line pushes out more because I don't want to spend as much on the car. So it better, like, to maintain it, to run it, etc. I don't want to have it breaking down all the time, so it better be a good car. The value zone is kind of the so what of all this. You can plot the car, and then whatever your arbitrary, up to you, your value zone is this car within that value zone? If yes, I say absolutely go for it. If no, then pass it up. Hopefully doing something like this will kind of help you make your decision. We'll do this quick example. A Toyota Corolla. A lot of people own Toyota Corollas, and in general, they tend to have pretty high RVP values. So they're neither sporty or luxurious, they're pretty smack dab in the middle. They're very reliable, so we'll call that, like, that's about as reliable as you can get. So maybe 9.5 out of 10 here. RVP is maybe, I'd say 50%. So we're here. This is your Toyota Corolla. And it's cheap to maintain because the thing takes 3 quarts of oil. The oil filters are cheap, tires are cheap, everything for it is inexpensive, so it's a very great car to own. So in summary, this is just meant to be a visualization tool. Basically something that you can mostly just picture in your head. You don't even have to draw it out. That will help you prioritize which cars that you'd like to purchase. I hope you found this informative, and thanks again for tuning into FunAhead TV.